Hi, I'm Veg.
This is Jared.
I'm Ricky.
And this is our intro to the Northern State Podcast Network.
Welcome.
we have been talking about this on our podcasts for a while about starting a network. Jared, I guess, would be the podfather in a way, since he actually did all the legwork up to this point.
The entrepreneur.
We really didn't do shit.
Yeah.
How many distributor websites did you test out, Jared?
I think 4, and I still am part of 3 of them because they haven't run out of free trials yet. So
Nice.
So and you settled on Transistor FM.
yeah,
So we're slowly transitioning Fairweather Friends podcast to Transistor FM. Got us on there, and we're connected to Google and Spotify.
okay.
We still got to go on iTunes and figure out how to get that RSS feed switched.
It's pretty
Oh, yeah.
easy actually.
Yeah,
It's
we just
like all I had to do is go to my page.
We
All I
just
had to
have
do
done
is go to
nothing.
my page and like change the web address to the Transistor one, and it switched everything over.
Nice.
You can't tell about me and Vig. Kind of lazy.
It's
Well,
cool.
I've gotten lazier
Don't worry.
since I started working too.
I
I'll
don't
plan
blame
on
you.
my day off to like do stuff, and then I
Yeah, I don't blame you.
didn't
at all.
even get out of bed till like 10:30 today.
I didn't even wake up until you guys first started messaging me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going on a Transistor FM. It allows multiple podcasts. And did that one have an upgrade for like network thing? I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
did. It goes.
So if we ever
I think it goes to $50 or something. But right now the only thing that's limiting is if we get more than 2,000 downloads a month. That's the only reason that we'd ever be limited on there. So
okay.
we have to grow in order
Not
for that to be a problem. Every one of them had a negative kind of to them.
Well, then we
and-
hopefully can get a website
Separate.
that has links to each of each of the different podcasts. But for now, there's a separate Transistor FM website for each podcast.
Basically.
So
And
we
we
add it.
and I actually put like I showed you, I sent you guys a thing is like on MailChimp that you could create like basically a landing page for all of them that would link all the different websites all from one
Oh,
page.
nice.
Then we would
Nice.
just give out that and it would link all the rest of them. I mean, I did it as just a mock-up more or less before we had a name, but but yeah, so I think that one will probably work. And also not only that, they can sign up for like an email once we have a email and stuff going. They can set up like all that stuff, like newsletter, if we want to do some crap like that. I
Sweet.
don't know if we want to go that in depth or not, but we definitely can.
And the main reason we're having this video, though, is because we finally settled on a name
Oh yeah,
for now.
it took
we
some time.
change it in a month.
Yeah,
Because we debated over whether we want to do something that like is local reference
yeah,
or something completely random and kind of funny. I think we kind of settled in the middle. So
Yeah.
Northern State Podcast Network.
yeah,
For those who aren't from Sedro-woolley and the surrounding area, Northern State is where we're sitting in
Yeah.
this video. If you're watching the video, it was a hospital, commonly known as a little bit of an insane asylum. Clearly not just that though, because this around us is a dairy. All these buildings were not only worked by patients, they were built apparently by patients,
Oh, I didn't know.
mostly.
that's cool.
There's a thing right behind us that
Oh, yeah.
tells about it a little bit.
It was fucking helicopters, eh?
Holy shit.
Sorry you guys
Dual
can't see that, but
helicopters.
you can definitely hear it.
Get the
Yeah, so
drone
that-
out, take them down.
This whole area has a bunch of old buildings. They turned it into a recreation area now. So it's an interesting part of Sedro-woolley history, if
Yeah.
not a proud one.
Yeah,
Disc golf course, tons of people come up here to walk, dogs, or they got little kids with strollers. I hope you guys can hear this
Yeah.
helicopter. This is pretty cool. There's also, because there's the
there's a Job
little
Corps,
base.
isn't there?
Huh?
Isn't the Job Corps over there too?
Well, there's Job Corps over there, but there's a little base for like, is it reserves or something like that?
Oh, okay.
Right over there too. But doesn't seem like that's where they're going.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's the reserves. What else? There's the cemetery.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
cemetery back that way. But yeah, so we settled on the Northern State Podcast Network.
Pretty common landmark if you're from here.
Yeah, for
Everybody's been to this park.
Yeah,
Yeah, for us, we've all been around it. And like I said, it's a little bit of an insane asylum. Now we're
Yeah.
debating on naming our studio for Fairweather Friends, the asylum. I'm kind of liking it. It's growing on me more and
yeah.
more.
I think it's pretty good.
Welcome.
So far,
To
we
the
got just the 2 podcasts on it that are being published. So we got our
Yeah.
Fairweather Friends podcast, which would be me and Ricky's flagship podcast.
The one that started it all.
Yeah, it is.
You've got Rain City Sports.
Yeah.
But then you have your other podcast, which you mentioned on ours.
I'm
like,
working on
your
it.
second or
still.
third time
I'm-
it came on.
It's like I'm feeling like the sports one is becoming my like guinea pig of learning how to do all the things.
No, and I
like,
think that was a good idea.
Yeah.
That's basically what we started out with.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we basically did 4 episodes of NBA by amateurs, and literally just
because
learned how to edit on the go and
Yeah.
just threw them out there. And we've slowly been getting a little better. But so your other one you mentioned on our podcast, you want to talk about it all now? Because that'll basically be your flagship podcast,
I think it
probably,
probably
right?
will.
'Cause it's going
Yeah.
to be longer. It's going to be
Yeah.
you and a guest.
it's going to be kind of people telling their lives and the struggle they've gone through and how they coped with it and how they fought through and what they've learned and stuff like that. I mean, main goal to me is to like make sure to spread out in the world that whatever you're going through is not. I mean, other people are struggling with similar things.
What I
You're
liked
never
about it
alone and
when
all
you
that
first
stuff.
told about it to us was like everyone kind of thinks their life story is boring because they lived
Oh yeah,
it.
true.
You know, it's kind of like if I don't want to say if you get fat, people who have subtle changes that happen slowly over time. You
Yeah.
get used to them and you don't realize how much
For
changes
sure.
have happened. And then you look at old pictures from like
Yeah.
4 years ago.
That was kind of what originally inspired me to do is because my story, like anybody I've ever said it to, like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Like, how did you make it through that? I'm like, I was like, that's just life. I didn't even really like, it
Took it
even
one thing
looking
at a
back
time.
nowadays, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. Like, I don't feel like it was that bad. It could have been worse for sure. You
Definitely.
know? And so like, I don't know. And like when I told my mom about the podcast, she started crying. She's like, was it that bad? I'm like, I don't know. I guess it was.
Not to me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was. I don't know. You know, like I'm gonna try to make it as best I can, where you're not, crapping on the people that are close to you, because like I feel like that could happen. Like if you're because you're telling your life story and you're telling about struggle, and then like the struggle has to do with your mom or your
Why'd
dad.
you do that, dumbass?
Like exactly. Like I don't know how you like you're gonna have to figure out how to. I don't want people to not tell their story because they don't want to,
Well, I mean,
throw their dad under the porch or whatever, under the bus is what they say, I guess.
We all go through different things. We all make bad decisions in life.
Yeah,
we all
exactly.
have unlucky things happen to us, and no one should be ashamed of anything.
Yeah. I feel like also like everybody's just doing the best they can, and
Yeah, not
like
everybody.
even when I think about the things that my mom did that were like shady or whatever, I'm like, she was just doing what she thought was best. And if you look at her, how she was raised, it was 10 times worse than what I got.
Mhm.
So like she was doing best what she thought was best at the time. So, it just continues on that, I think. So
Yeah, well, we definitely look forward to that one coming out.
Yeah.
I like that you're taking your time and try to have it as professional as be from episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Hopefully we'll have some
comfortable on the
podcasts
mic.
that are like that now that we've
Getting
our
comfortable on the mic.
flagship. We just did
Yeah.
our flagship as our guinea pig.
Yeah. Well, our show is a comedy based more than reality.
I think you're right. And even sports is like easy to talk about and like
Well, it hurt us a little bit because now because we started out as the NBA thing.
I know that
and
is
then we
true.
started transitioning like talking NFL with Hooper. Is now everyone thinks, oh, well, I don't really know a lot about sports.
Yeah.
My friend Christine
Yeah.
who has mentioned being on it because she wanted to talk Cougars. And I was like, hey, yeah, Ryan was on. She's like, oh, yeah, I saw Ryan was on it. He's like, yeah, he probably was able to talk sports first. I was like, well, we didn't
Yeah.
talk very much sports, talking
Yeah,
about
we don't need
UFC.
to.
So I'm trying to
It's a
convince
variety
people
show.
that we
That's
talk.
what-
We want to
That's
talk
the
about
same.
what they know about.
Same reaction I got
Yeah.
from Curtis.
And
Well, I
Trent-
don't know nothing about the sport balls.
That's
Well,
what
you
Trent
don't- you
said
don't
too.
have to,
Like
dude.
Should we
I
just
asked
post
him-
on Facebook just a huge thing like our podcast is not about sports.
Well,
It's about whatever
it
their
doesn't
guest
have to be.
knows
yeah.
about and is
Yeah.
passionate about or wants to talk about.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I talked to Trent
But-
about it yesterday, and he said that like I don't know much about sports, so it's like it was cool to be on it, but I don't know much about sports, and I'm like, and
Well,
I'm thinking
his-
like
His episode was all about fantasy
it
football.
was, but I mean he could come on it and
'Cause we
talk
had two
about
other
lots of
people
different
there.
things. He knows
Yeah.
he's not just he
Well, yeah,
does-
and that his connection to Ricky was
Yeah.
fantasy football.
Sure.
Well, it was dominoes and then fantasy football. Yeah, so and yeah, we had a group of them on. So
yeah. But
We have way too many dominoes connections, I've realized, in our lives.
yeah, because if Christine comes on, it's going to be basically retelling the Pullman
Yeah, and I
stories.
had
A little different ones, but
someone
that's how I
that
know
I
her
used
too.
to work with reach out and say,
We got to do a better job on ours of finding out what people are interested in and getting them to like actually give at least one thing they would like to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, because people are like, oh, I don't care.
yeah,
Like, well, help us out.
like
yeah. So we don't have to
even just
Facebook
ask
stalk you or
questions
something.
like
We
what
don't
are
know you for real.
what are you passionate about? Like things that like what is I guess that's.
Yeah, we're talking about doing like a pre-interview card.
No,
like
that's
they
what I
do
mean.
on night
So,
shows.
I'm for
That's what's
sure.
good about
Talk shows.
Skype, though, because Skype you can always
I'm
talk
for
to each
sure
other.
going to
real
do
quick.
that for mine. Like, I'm going to send out a pre thing so I know what they're going to say, kind of. So I can, hopefully, it'll help me pick questions better and stuff. But same kind of thing. I think that if you guys have a small, even if it's just a short pre interview that, like, you talk a little bit about what they want to talk about and kind of, then you can do
I
some
think we were
research on
too
it if you want
confident
to.
in our ability to talk to people that we already knew.
Yeah.
We've definitely already discussed, like, if we can get people from other podcasts, people we don't know,
Yeah.
definitely come out with some like thing of like,
Well, I saw
tell us 3 things, you're
on one of the
interested in,
Facebook
hobbies,
pages, people were always looking for people.
There's a one I joined. I think I told you guys to join it too,
Yeah.
where it's for posting if you want to be a guest or have people
Yeah.
as guests. But we got some other ideas for shows. I've mentioned like 800 times already in
Game of
like
Thrones.
5 podcasts doing Game of Thrones podcasts.
So
Ricky, you had your
skate video one. Eventually, I'll find somebody that wants to do that.
Hooper would be. That's just nailing him down.
I
Not
had
the
a-
most reliable.
Well, I was supposed to have coffee,
it's
but
kinda-
he lives in Bellingham. It's hard to get him up here.
Yeah, well, there's always Skype.
Yeah,
Like I said,
there
if
is
you guys are
always
just
the-
reviewing the video,
and depending on what you use, if you're using like for Apple, which I don't know what you use, but Apple has way better software for recording, like and making it like real good.
I got nothing Apple.
Yeah, I don't have
that
phone.
rich.
I don't like Apple either. I never have.
I got
I
no
wouldn't like
problem
it
with
even
I
if
just
I
have
had
never
it.
been able to
But,
afford Apple shit.
yeah,
I don't even have an iPhone. Then you guys were talking about doing a music podcast.
yeah, we're on that one. I think.
Yeah.
we've started kind of.
Oh, you guys are okay.
We've
Yeah, we've
Yeah, you
we've
threw
done
that
our
out to all of
research.
us, and I was like, hey, you know what?
I know.
I'm gonna take a step
well,
back
I
on
wanted
this
to
one.
give you the option. I didn't want to.
No, I
exclude
appreciate it. I
you.
was like, yeah, this definitely sounds like a great one for you guys.
I think it's actually developing pretty coolly. Like even if it stayed how it is, like
It's mostly
like-
just because the intro sounds cool.
just be talking about like artists and like
yeah,
like some
trying
of
to
their
find
songs.
new people and trying to find like
I definitely think you can find some people who'd want to be on that podcast,
Yeah.
especially if they can give like a recommendation and then come on
yeah,
and
exactly.
talk to you about their recommendation.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of my idea. I think. I already have at least one friend that said he'd come on and give us recommendations at the very least.
Nice.
So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool, and that will help us explore some new music. Hopefully,
Your intro sounded pretty cool too.
because
I like
I'm
that.
yeah,
We got to practice. We haven't even tried doing
it's
shit like
tough. Yeah, it's
I think we've got enough episodes that we could do some clips and make a
No,
You
we need
shouldn't
to.
clip together. Some
I keep editing the episodes together and just throwing them out online before I remember to like that I wanted to try. Like we wanted to try to do like an intro for a game and stuff like that.
I've been.
I saw on the site where we got our music, where you got yours and I got mine for sports. There was a Game of Thrones it's like a rap song, but nevertheless, it
thinking
has
of
the
the Game of
music.
Thrones
It has
intro,
the
how to do
music
it,
of of Game of Thrones more or less. I don't know what the limitations on that is.
I don't
or
know. I'm
not.
worried about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not that worried. Cause I'm, like maybe
if
40
you're
people
reviewing
download
it, it's
Well, I
it's
know,
fair
but
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you review the clip, but we wouldn't be reviewing the
That's
intro
why
every time. But
it's even then though they said like you have to keep it short. Like, yeah, you couldn't play like the whole song and then
Oh,
review
yeah.
the whole song. Like, you
no,
could do,
from what I read, it's
yeah,
like basic percent. Like if you played 2 minutes of a full length movie, you'd be fine.
yeah.
But
And
that
review-
means if you played 2 minutes
it
of a
has to be-
5-minute song,
it kind of has to be in your
Probably not
context.
okay.
It has to be in the context of whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is kind of what they said.
and then if you've made it this long into our little video, or I don't know if this will be on our podcast or what, we're looking for anyone who wants to do podcasts, either as guests or have their own podcast or do one with us. We're looking. We got one friend who was a guest on our show who would like to come back on our show, but also who's talking about doing one himself.
Yeah.
He's done it a little bit in the past, just playing around with it.
Well, I feel like it's gonna. Hopefully, we can become kind of an easy way for people to get into it a little bit, and like
'Cause
they
most
don't have to
people-
put all the investment in, maybe necessarily.
Most people after they come on, they're like, "Well, that was fun. I've always wanted to do this," and like,
Yeah.
just never really had the drive. You know,
Well, and
that's
if you want
kinda
to do
how I
it, and you
went.
don't want to buy anything, work with me and Ricky. We've got enough stuff now that we can arrange for, figuring out when you can use our stuff. And if you want to get
come
us,
over to the
be on
asylum,
the show, come to
Yeah.
the asylum. I like it.
check yourself in.
You need a sign now.
Yeah. So any topics? I know you were talking. The fiance Lori and Hooper's
Oh,
wife
yeah,
Haley
yeah.
might want to do a true crime podcast.
That would be cool.
Yeah, they're really into it. Well, they're into true crime, as all women are apparently.
Yeah, I've listened to
You should
the.
just
But,
review true crime podcasts.
I mean, okay, so I listened to it's My Favorite Murder,
Yeah.
which is two women that talk about true crime,
Yeah.
and they gained like 10,000 followers in like 6 episodes.
That's why I said they would easily put us on the map because they're women talking about murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't have good
They've already
tags
been
for ours.
they've already been researching cold
I
cases.
think they're
in
comedians
Skagit County.
comedians in their like before, so they're pretty funny too. But
No, those shows just catch fire
Yeah.
immediately. Like,
yeah, it's true. It's interesting. It's
I
cool.
didn't. Yeah, it's
They're not even like super like in depth on like being truth. I guess like they're like, oh yeah, we don't know for sure. We're just kind of like, this is what we read about this murder, basically, kind of.
it would be fun to do like a drunk one, like drunk history, where they go on and they tell the story, but they're wasted, so it's not at all what happened. Just make up a crime on the spot.
we should do it the opposite. We should go on as guests really drunk and have them tell us about the crime and just react and like, what the fuck? He used an axe. What the? To reverse drunk history, listening to a crazy story drunk
reaction.
drunk reactions.
There's actually a voice changer thing that was like a drunk one. You could use to,
If I go on drunk, I want to voice one
Yeah.
so I can pretend like I'm not me.
well, yeah, exactly. But anyways, I think that if we can be kind of open to having people start their own thing and
Well, especially on
kinda-
that Transistor FM, was there a max number of podcasts you can have
nothing.
on there? It's just
Yeah,
total
the
downloads.
only total download is the only thing. That's why
And if we have enough people that we're getting that many total downloads, then I don't think it's so much to ask like everyone to pitch in a couple
no,
dollars.
exactly, and that's what I was thinking.
Because if it's $50 and we've got 10 different podcasts or 10 different
Yeah.
people in the network,
It's easy, yeah, exactly.
$5 each a month.
Yeah.
Let's
That's what I was thinking. It's
Yeah, I'm
like-
out.
lost Ricky. Sorry, I can do our podcast solo.
It's the fair weather friend.
Oh, my guests will be my friend. See if I can get any guests anymore. We've had a pretty even split. Well, most of our guests have been mutual friends.
Yeah,
I guess the non-mutual friends, you're up on that one.
a little bit. Yeah.
I've only had like one person on that you didn't know beforehand. You've had like
Ryan,
4 or
yeah.
5 on that I didn't know.
That's true.
But of course, they were all your
they're all on
fantasy
the
football.
same
I
episode.
knew Jeff, somewhat. But yeah, this is the whole point of this little video. Hopefully, we haven't gone too long and
No, I
lost
think-
people. Just to intro that we're putting the network together. Just having fun.
We'll see where it takes us.
talking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of a hobby.
Yeah.
Spend a little bit of money here and there to upgrade on some stuff. But like I said, between at least the 3 of us, we've got 4 or 5 working microphones and multiple ways to record. I mean, if we just use free Audacity on my laptop. Like,
Mhm.
you got that from trading stuff in, right? Like,
Yeah, traded some
those
camera
recorders
gear
are pretty
in.
expensive if you try to buy one. But if you're not looking for, you
This
don't
one's
need a recorder.
refurbished, so it was
Oh,
a little
sweet.
cheaper on top
Let's
of
start
it.
maybe look at the like Guitar Center and the
Yeah, that's.
Hugo
I think that's where it came from.
music.
But it's through eBay, but I think it was from.
Because
the
I'm looking to
Guitar Center.
upgrade our mixer at one of those places because they've used ones a lot.
Yeah,
And they've got some at, I know they've had them at Guitar Center in Bellingham for like $70, $80. They
Yeah.
have spot for 4 microphones as opposed to 2.
Nice.
So, but yeah, let us know. Look for us. We're on Instagram as Fairweather Friends. I'm Matt Vague on Facebook.
yeah.
Ricky Reyes on Facebook. Jerry Johnson on Facebook. Also on Instagram. Do you have an Instagram for Rain City Sports yet?
I don't. I will.
Are you
Go
going to do
with
one
that.
just for that?
I don't
or
know.
You,
I was thinking I wanted
it
to
for-
wait until we had a network, and then I would just do the network instead of. So trying to manage that many freaking
yeah.
accounts is not. I mean, I didn't want to do one for Facebook for Rain City Sports, but then I was like, okay, well, might as well.
Well,
Like,
like I won't set one up for like, if I do the Game of Thrones podcast, it's gonna be like a mini series basically. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna set up social media for that.
yeah,
Hopefully that one. Hopefully Game of Thrones will be popular enough to get some downloads.
yeah,
There's gonna be random people downloading your show,
but for sure.
because how I found my Simpsons one, I just listened to like 10 of them, and then I finally found the one that was actually good.
Yeah. So you got to be good, is basically what he's saying.
It just be
You
entertaining.
don't want to be one of those other guys.
Yeah. Well, half of the Simpsons ones are like, "This is the problem with this episode." I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about?
What's the
This is
fun
like
of
my
that?
favorite episode."
Yeah, that's not fun. That's why I don't want to do review. I don't really want to review movies and stuff. People have talked about that. Is because then I start going through a rabbit hole of
Yeah.
overly critiquing. And for me, I can sit and critique things as I watch them and fully enjoy it. Other people turn to me like, "You're ruining this." It's like,
Yeah.
all right. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the guy who's
I like the categories. How
making people
do
overthink
categories.
things they like.
Categories is good.
What is that?
When you have certain categories that you talk about within the movie,
Oh,
it
okay.
makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah, but
rather
like
than just
they do the
going over what talks.
rewatchables on The Ringer with movies where they'll be like, who won the movie? You know, was it these actors Mount Rushmore, like was it their top of their career,
Oh,
things
okay,
like
gotcha.
that. So they don't
Yeah.
sit and only, they do talk about things that didn't age well,
Yeah.
or they'll make fun
Oh,
of a
for
few
sure.
things like, yeah, that didn't really work, but whatever. It's still a great movie.
Well, anyways,
And also,
Ramble.
if you watch or if you just listen to our
Ramble.
podcast, give us feedback.
yeah, we want
Um,
feedback for sure.
We want to hear from people. We
One
want to.
feedback I've gotten is too much sports. But then she also said I should have read the description.
Was it one of the first episodes?
No, she's on episode 11.
Was this a random stranger or something?
No, it was the
Yeah, I mean, it's
one I
only in
used to
our
work with.
last like 4 or 5 where we've really gotten away from sports. Or not gotten away, but gotten people on who want to talk about other things.
Yeah.
I mean, Hooper and Jared were pretty much all sports those episodes, except when we
Sorry.
talked about like your podcast and stuff.
Yeah,
It's the easiest thing to talk about.
it is.
Fantasy football,
It-
probably really boring to listen to in hindsight.
Yeah, it breaks ice really easily.
Mhm.
Like that's part of it.
And that's why
But-
we're trying to get more games. And like I
Yeah.
said, we kind of decided, or pseudo decided, like we're gonna have a sports section, have it the back half.
Yeah,
People
that's
can
totally
hang
cool.
on.
If you want to hear the sports, skip
that's
to,
why we
this,
want the feed- we
skip
want
to
the
38
feedback.
minutes.
Because now we need to get it out there that it's not all sports.
Yeah.
And then if it is sports, it's usually gonna be the back half, or it's like with Ryan talking UFC. We didn't sit and talk who's the best fighter, who's your favorite. It was,
How will
they got
this
this
work?
stuff with ESPN. Is it gonna work? Are you still watching? Do you think it?
Yeah,
Has stuff with his friends where he bets on it. Blair was on. I don't know if that one will publish before this does, but we were watching X-Wings because his friend was playing X-Wings live, and so
Oh,
we watched
nice.
a live feed of that. His friend won. His friend
Cool.
called him while we were still podcasting, and we let him take the call. In fact, Ricky just left the room.
I had to go pee so
Yeah,
bad.
so he took the call live on the podcast with his
Nice.
friend. Like,
that's cool.
we're down for everything.
That Blair one's going to give us a serious bump.
Maybe we should live stream watching Game of Thrones. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that'd be boring reactions, and no one's
I
really
think
going to
you're
talk
right. It's
during
too.
it. But
Yeah, it's too much.
It'd have to be like the third time you watch
Either
the
that, or
episode.
you could cut out all the silent parts. Maybe like you guys just if you go a long time without talking, and just
well,
cut that
that'd
part
be
out.
most of it.
Yeah, I know that's
No,
the problem.
but
You
if
want to
got
watch it.
feedback for podcasts, or even podcasts, if you didn't want to do a podcast, be like, hey, you know what I would listen to?
Yeah,
Let us know what topics. I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to feel loved,
I just
which is
wanna
not
be
working
liked.
so far. We were
Yeah.
on a steady incline of downloads, very low number as it was, and now it's dropped again, and it's killing me.
yeah.
We can edit this part out, right?
I think this is going to have to be heavily edited. Good thing Jared's recording.
It's pretty
You can be
easy.
our pod father, and you can edit this one down.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Although we can't. If we edit the audio, then we have to try to match edit the
Yeah, it's
video.
true.
Shit.
Or you just-
Well, we released an unedited video, and then we clip it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
For the
dub
actual.
it. We'll just play. We'll re-record this
We'll
while
put-
watching the video and just dub it.
Commentary over.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is why Fairweather Friends podcasts have slowly gotten to hour 50, 2 hour plus minutes.
Yep.
It's because we just start rambling on about random things.
It's a good time.
We could use some feedback on whether that's good or not.
Yeah.
But should we wrap this one up then?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
good.
From the home of from the actual Northern State
Facilities.
Yeah.
dairy farm. This was a Northern State podcast production.
Hell yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
everyone,
how
who has
should we
supported us
sign
up
off?
to this point.
Yep.